Well, I guess we'll call the meeting to order. I'm chairman, right?
Yes,
Okay.
you are the,
Okay.
the absentee mayor or mayor, whatever. Two.
Call the meeting to order. We'll stand for the pledge of allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Okay, first thing is approval of the agenda. Motion to approve. Are there any additions or anything?
Just make one addition. I don't know if we'll go unfinished or new, but Sue and I met with Jeff from DSG. He used to work for Rural Water on the different spreadsheet to help calc water rates. Just we're gonna have to do work on it, but I just want to talk about it at the end of the meeting.
That'd be miscellaneous then?
Probably under unfinished.
Unfinished.
We have brought it up before.
Are there any other additions or? If not, someone wish to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second,
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Motion approved. Approval of the minutes. Are there any, or is there any additions or corrections?
So
I guess I didn't see anything. Someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Approve the bills. Or any questions about the bills or anything that someone would like to ask? I just have one, it's not really a question, but I see that the sewer account is in the arrears. 25,000 or something like that. Would you want to just check with Burkhardt and just see if we should make a resolution? You can have it ready next meeting, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah,
Yep.
we've been, John and I've got to meet with Burkhardt.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things too, so.
Yeah. To, transfer some money into that account. Anyone else have anything? Okay, motion to approve the bills.
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Community comment, anyone addressing the council with a comment from community?
We did have a resident that was going to come in here today. And I'm not sure what happened. He didn't make it. But he wanted to thank Grace for making sure that he knows when the water's being turned off. It's Brandon Lindsay. So he just wanted to make sure that we said thank you to Grace for taking care of that,
Thank you, Ray.
making sure that he always is told.
Good.
That's what he had to say.
Thanks, Race.
Hopefully we can continue that if you're gone sometime when that happens, you know what I mean? Off for some emergency or something, so. Very good. Anyone else? Council? All right, moving on. We have Chris Henke. Henke, is that you?
I'm here for Chris, he's the accountant.
Okay. And I understand that you folks have possession of the corner lot up here down from Anderson's truck shop?
Yep.
310 Graham. Right on the curve there.
Next to Robert Shaw.
Yeah, can't.
House.
Yeah, that one house there. I can't remember.
No, down.
No,
Yeah, there.
okay.
Can't remember who used to live there, but it should, I just can't think of it. You probably remember, if you think of it long
Years
enough.
ago,
Yeah,
Herb.
Yeah.
The leggy.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
that-
what, that's what it was.
That
Yeah,
was way, way.
way
long
back.
time.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's the lot we're talking about. And maybe you would like to just kind of present what it is you have in mind for that lot that you're asking us to do.
So his family owned that lot, and right now there's a rental property on the lot. But he was hoping to rezone that industrial. And possibly get rid of the house to build storage sheds, or they'd be the first small businesses or people who rent them to store boats or anything they want to store. I think we did 3 buildings on the lot. And yeah, he's just wondering if we can rezone that property to do that. It's be good for a small business and maybe bring some small business to the town. Right now, we do the same thing in Medford, Minnesota. That's where our office is. We have 13 sheds there and they're all full. And all pretty much just an incubator for small business to grow, and then they usually grow out of that and go find some bricks and mortar they can afford by then, but just a good business starter.
I guess my only question starting off would be, is there or are there any more requirements for water and sewer beyond what would be there for a residence?
No, it's actually less.
Okay.
Each shed, we put a bathroom and a laboratory. There's no shower in there. We don't want anyone to live there. But you know, if you're working in your shop and you need to use restroom.
Yep.
It's nice to have that.
Yep.
Then that's.
So we would have to run 3 sewer lines and water lines to those properties.
I believe it's already there.
Yeah, it should be to the residents.
There's only one though. You'd have to branch it off.
No, right, but
We would do the connection.
that would have.
Oh,
to be
gotcha.
there.
And it's
Yeah,
already there.
I mean, it's there to the lot.
It's accessible.
Right.
That was why I was wondering, I mean, it's probably just a 3/4 inch line, going up, yeah. Okay. I don't remember right offhand everything that it takes to rezone something. And first of all, I think I want to make sure that, is this something that council would be favorable for, or favorable to, or?
Especially what part of town he's in. It's basically industrial anyway, so that's no problem to me at all. I really don't see any problems, no, but I don't know what those sections are.
For county or?
That whole, I'm assuming we'd have to go through.
That whole street is,
Yeah.
except for the first corner, yeah.
If you look at that zoning map behind you, I mean, it's on the little zoning color map. you got
Right
right
here.
there, That even has it as already industrial, but we.
Oh, it does, huh?
Yeah, we look at Beacon, it is residential, but according to that map, it would be.
So it'd be, which one? Which lot are we looking at here? I'm not sure either.
It'd be this right here, right?
Yeah, it's the.
But you would raise the house to put in the 3 sheds, right?
Yeah, we get rid of the house.
The general business, huh? Is that what?
Somebody living there now?
They are living
Yeah,
there.
this.
That's
We
right.
haven't,
This.
Yeah,
he just,
So it is.
his grandma passed.
or yeah, sorry,
And then mom wasn't gonna do anything with it, so she's. Yeah.
Well, even in there, it's general
Yeah.
business.
I'm also with this possibility of doing this, because it's successful in Medford.
Sure that, yeah, that's it. Gotta be.
We haven't brought it up to the owner yet, because we're not gonna do anything if we can't rezone.
Mhm.
There's no need to
Right.
alarm her like, hey, you might lose your house, cause she's lived there for a long time, I don't know who she is, but she's been there quite a while.
Right.
So,
Have no mobile.
on the
District.
on that plan I gave you, I think her house is in that middle lot, so if it was to rezone. We started construction, we'd give her plenty of time to resituate. And we could still put 2 buildings on.
Oh, yeah.
And so the entrances to all 3 buildings would be from centers.
Thomas.
This-
Right.
From the center.
It's Graham. Graham Street.
Yeah, being a service store.
There. Seeing it's highway Right there's Graham. Right there.
But,
Yeah, so Robert shot.
the mayor
Right.
You know, you can see it's highway business district,
would be interested in swapping land,
This color right here.
you know,
like that parcel, and I believe he owns one
business
to the
district.
south of it. That field.
Yeah, he owns it.
Yep. So that was another, this was news to me today, but I was hoping to talk to him. And we would entertain that, and that would preserve the house, maybe it'd be up to the mayor. What he wanted to do with that land, but it is right next to his business.
Water lines.
But then it'd be contingent on if we could rezone that field then.
They'd have to find it.
But we'd entertain either one.
Tap the water main that's there.
So
We
that,
don't know where it is. That's the question on that,
It's a
right
single
here,
small
right?
line.
on Robert's land that goes out to Hillary.
He just, they just gave
The
them an
purple right
easement.
there.
Yeah, yep, that was, yeah.
And then this,
Years ago, they ran that line to have city
does it
water out there.
include
But
this?
they know
Does
people
the
like
house
it.
extend back
The
in
curb stops
here?
are up here.
But either way, it's a
This house owned all
It's this piece
all
right
this
here.
land at one
All
time.
that grass.
That's why they got by. Including that little.
I.
And then it got sold and.
Buildings.
Robert's land, this map isn't updated. Robert has all of this parcel back here. This is where he's got
Yeah,
storage. This is not updated. This is a road that runs back here.
Yeah.
It's big open gravel lot.
but this, all I'm talking about is basically right.
But
Yeah, the green.
Yeah.
Robert owns a land south of the road. Yeah, that right there, yeah.
Yeah, building here.
That's the piece he would consider horse trading, I guess you would say,
Oh, okay.
possibly. So he's not here today to talk about it, but if that was the case, then I'd
So
be
he-
wondering if we could rezone the other piece.
So he would be, there might be you would take
We would take that.
So you wouldn't be
Well,
way down here.
We would leave the house, cause then Robert would own that whole square right there. And we,
Whatever's green.
yeah, and then we'd take that field part and do our.
Whatever.
shits there.
Okay.
If that's what he wants to do, and he's not here to.
So we have anything about zoning? Okay, that would have to be.
Kind of a hard rezone either.
You know,
Yeah, that
that'd be
field.
green, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is all ag, zoned ag, so that's what have to be changed for us.
But is that city limits?
Pardon?
Is that in city limits?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is,
Yeah.
okay.
And if we were to go in that field and do our project, we understand there would be costs to extend the road and all that stuff, so.
Yeah, bring
we
water,
understand that.
yeah, yeah.
We'd be okay with that, whatever we.
Maybe start with the question to Kennedy,
Yeah,
and then hopefully he can direct us on how to go about the rezoning.
I
It would
agree.
have to be a public hearing.
Yeah.
We gotta put in the
Yeah.
paper,
Right.
Yeah.
that type of thing. Yep,
Citizen output,
Yep.
input.
yep.
Yep.
And he's the contact, what did we say, 350 feet? Residents within 350 feet of that property have to be notified. To have, if they have any issues or questions with it, they have to be able to, so
So,
it'd be like a public hearing, I'm assuming.
So would it be accessible 24 hours a day? Could somebody like, if they wanted, would there be traffic like there's somebody going into there to get their boat or their camper or whatever they have stored?
Yeah.
at midnight?
It's not fenced in or nothing.
So it'd be up to each person.
these are like these,
A lot of times what it is it's like one example is like a welding fabricator guy who just has outgrown his garage.
Right,
But he has enough business, he can afford to rent a shop and set up and maybe expand his business a little bit. He's not gonna be out there till midnight.
Right,
He's gonna
right.
be 8 to 5.
right.
Another example is like, we got a RV repair guy that's very popular right now because RVing is, exploded in the last 4 years. So there's a lot of that, and that's an 8 to 5. We got a few truckers. And, they might roll in there and then hook their trailer or truck or park it and go home. But, ours, we don't have a lot of weird dress
Right, okay,
right now. I can't say
right,
who would rent there.
right.
Usually it's a small business guy. And they're usually pretty responsible and respectful.
you built, you were saying like a welding shop. You just basically give them the shell if they gotta update stuff, they do it, or you do that and then
No.
rent wise
We
or.
own the building and then, being it's a commercial building, you know, if they wanna update something inside, you know, we'd have to go through the proper permitting and stuff.
Okay,
We build a shell and then most people don't put up walls inside because. I know we don't put up walls, like we don't divide our sheds off because it seems like every tenant would want the wall somewhere else and it'd
Right.
be too much of a hassle, too much money in the walls. But it'd be fully insulated, line. Be indoor heated,
Mhm.
very efficient building.
Yeah, I think that we're in favor. We just have to figure out county stuff and what else.
Yeah, I agree. With all that, I mean, just so these folks have kind of some idea, but you know, some assurance here, would someone like to make a motion then that we proceed with this project? Beginning with talking with the attorney and doing everything else that we need to do. And then come back next meeting. I mean, is there a big rush to get this done? Or I mean, can we wait a month to make? it?
Yeah, I mean, we have the materials, we've had the materials, just because we got really good deal on materials from the projects we've been doing there.
Okay,
But, I guess we want to get the summer away from us, because this isn't all we focus on. We build concrete patching plants, so we're going into our busy season. So we just want to get our ducks in a row so we can
if,
get it done.
if you build it on that lot, it'd go quicker than if we gotta go through the whole
Switching the land.
switching the land.
Right,
That would take a lot,
Yeah, there's,
that'll take 60 days minimum.
you know,
at least.
Oh,
yeah.
He just gave Marine an easement
But-
for water line running through that.
I can't speak for Robert or Chris, what they're, I don't know if they're gonna have an agreement after this, you know, to swap
Sure.
in, so that's why I brought
but
it
it's
up.
transferable to the next
What we have.
people.
Mhm. But then depending on where that line is, where he
He's
puts
got
this.
But he doesn't,
Okay.
Close that one,
So
so
there would.
it's a 75-foot easement.
Well, we're early enough in the year. I mean, even if it gets into the fall, you know what I mean? There's still plenty of time to erect this kind of a building. And just, as long as you can pour cement,
You
know.
Just go with green and down,
you can build
a
it
motion down.
pretty late.
yeah, all then all over there.
Yeah.
Whatever that,
it's like a pole barn. Like a very nice pole barn. How tall?
Depends on where the easement is.
yeah, that's gonna actually, if they do the land swap.
18 foot ceiling.
But I think once the doors are transferable.
Mhm. It's just a matter of,
Yeah.
you know, where we
Yeah, so
are.
they know that they don't all of a sudden dig.
Well,
Nice, very nice.
they would know that when they purchase the property, but Robert's got to abstain from any.
On that. Right now, everyone, each person will rent their own. Orange. Oh,
I mean, I think though, that just to give these folks some assurance that council is in favor of the concept at least. That, you know, we should move forward with whatever steps that it takes to determine whether or not we can really do it. You know, there could be something that we don't even know about. Yeah, I've been through this so many times that,
and maybe the first step is. Changing that zone. It might be in favor for the other one, then when it goes to rezone, because there's not a gap.
Mhm.
In the, be like spot zoning.
okay, well, does someone like to make a motion to set this into motion here?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Someone like to second it?
Second it.
Is there any further discussion?
Just that it, you know, the zoning question has to be answered first, so.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that would be part of your motion would be that you would authorize Sue then to engage the attorney and
right,
make all of this happen, you know, and get all this moving.
right.
Worst comes to worst, if they wanna get going, we might have to have a extra
Right,
couple special meetings to progress with it, but.
right. And if a special meeting happens, you just gotta pay our big wage.
I'll bring the next one.
Okay? I think that's basically what it is, you know?
Dollars. and-
Yeah.
So at any rate, Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
Okay,
So, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great
I think.
concept and a great project to move forward on if we can make it all happen. So. Okay, is there anything else? Otherwise, I think we're gonna move on, huh? Okay,
Can I get your name?
Yep, Omar, Omar, Gonzalez, Gonsalez.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
you have a card?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Don't need one. Okay. Next is Joe.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Joe with Bolton and Mank. We got an update on a few items to get through, but I don't think there'll be any in-depth discussion required, so I'll try and keep it brief. First one is the 2024 Halliday Street Backyard Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project. The contractor is looking at starting, talked about the week prior to July 4th, but I think it's most likely July 8th, which is the Monday after the 4th of July holiday. The sanitary sewer manholes are in production right now. After they're made, they need to sit and get some cure time for a few weeks before they can be brought on site and put into the ground. So I think realistically, we're targeting July 8th to start that project. We got our permit from Blue Earth County to dig into Front Street, so we're good to go whenever the contractor's ready there. So at some point, we'll be scheduling a pre-construction meeting. That'll be the next step here. So I'll work with Race and Sue to find a time that works for city staff and the contractor.
They must've been looking the other day down there and know there's a few trucks and
Chambers was?
I don't know, I just went by this and I just saw there's a few people walking around. There's some pickups and I didn't
Oh,
pay
okay.
that much attention.
Okay, could have been Chambers Excavating is the contractor there. I'm not sure what they were doing down there. Could just be a
Was it
site
those
visit,
light post
just an
guys?
investigation.
Maybe it was.
I could have,
Yeah, it could be there's a power pole need to get.
well, they've been going around digging up all the.
No, this,
Oh,
I saw they put some protectors on the power lines down there too.
Okay,
I thought maybe they're gonna get going.
Oh, they probably were moving that pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, so still moving forward with that one there. Next topic, as you all have possibly heard, the state bonding bill failed to pass this legislative session. We had City of Good Thunder had been working with their representative Bjorn Olson, who stopped at the council meeting in October of 23 to secure some dollars for the city. That project did not make it on the final cut of what was anticipated to be approved. I don't think that's a shock to the system because it felt like a very quick turnaround for that to be a 2024 bonding bill project. I've been corresponding, had a few emails with Sue, the representative made it sound like this is more on the 4 to 5 year plan, this project to secure dollars for the city of Good Thunder. Talking with Chelsea Alger, who is Bolton Bank's director of funding, she's sat with me at a couple of meetings here. Her recommendation is for the city, I've been corresponding with Sue on this, the city to reach out to their representative and try and get feedback or any insight. For, I guess, why they weren't considered for this session and what they would need to do to be considered for the following session. So in the past, this also happened in 2020, right? The bonding bill failed to pass this session. They came back in the fall. So potentially you could look for, and this is all at the legislative level, right? They could look to reopen a bonding session this fall. Worst case scenario would be waiting till 2026 when the next normal session would occur. So working with our representatives just to keep that project, let them know there's still a need for this project. And keep pestering them and let them know that, there's a need for this project and we're still ready to take on the project if the dollars become available. So I'll continue to correspond with Sue on that one, but there won't be any action in the next year or so, that we won't be breaking ground on construction on that $11 million project. And that included South Halliday Street reconstruction, new water treatment facility at 530 Sherman Street, the demolition of the existing water treatment facility, and then a new well as well.
Right.
New well as well, yeah. And then the existing well, primary well would become the backup, the existing backup well would be sealed again.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I read that too, that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they kind of fought with each other a little bit too long, I think, so.
Yeah, could come up to us time for political things like that, but
Whatever.
again, we've had the legislative assistant, his name is Eric Myers, who works under Representative Bjorn Olson's reached out a few times now, so the project's certainly on their radar, and this isn't any reason I don't think to lose hope, but admittedly, it felt very rushed for this to be it, he was here in October of 23 and the legislative session is now, so it was a quick turnaround, we felt for that to be and as Sue noted at the council meeting, I wasn't present at that council meeting, but he had talked about it being in his 4 to 5 year plan, is my understanding. So,
At least they saw it, so we come, say, in 2 years,
Mhm.
they see it.
Or this fall even.
yeah, but that's why it's important to follow up and just ask the question, hey, is this project on your radar? You reached out a few times, why didn't it make the final cut? Or what can we do to ensure some of those dollars? Because when you look at, I shared the list with Sue, but it's public knowledge that that final cut list of what's anticipated to be improved doesn't mean it's going to be, but was anticipated to be discussed on the legislative floor. And there are a lot of small communities on there, so I think this project could fit in there. The $11 million is a large dollar amount to be requested, but as the city, as we've put together these applications and things, we made it clear we would pursue a local match if necessary to come up with some remaining dollars. So
Mhm.
we'll continue on there corresponding with Sue. So with that, I'll continue on that a little bit. We put together the project priority list and intended use plan applications. Those are those acronyms are always throwing out PPP. And those were for local match dollars. So that was to give the city an opportunity at a low interest loan to back a local match if a local match was going to be required from this bonding bill project. So talking with Chelsea, our recommendation is we just have to submit a new IUP letter application every year. And that's about a 10-minute exercise. I come to the council meeting, get Robert to sign or city staff to sign a 1-page letter, saying that this project is still needed.
Okay.
So that's our recommendation now. So that would be coming in, 10 months from now or so. We'd be looking to re-up our IUP status.
So that's on your radar. You're gonna
Yes,
initiate that.
yes,
Okay.
that is correct. Mhm. Okay. Last topic, the 2024 phosphorus treatment out at the ponds. So we've solicited quotes from 4 contractors. We've actually only heard back from 1 contractor. Quotes were to be back to us last week, Thursday. Now we submitted quotes to 4 contractors. Admittedly, we reached out to contractors who specialize in water and wastewater building infrastructure, so water plants, wastewater plants, treatment of this sort. With the scale of this project being small, I think we're gonna start to take another approach here and work with some smaller contractors, but nonetheless, I'll go through what we acquired here. So we reached out to Rubin Construction. They're out of Tyler, Minnesota. They did give us a quote. Reached out to KHC Construction. They're out of Marshall, Minnesota. Reached out to MN Mechanical out of St. Cloud. And then Municipal Builders Inc. out of Elk River. These are all contractors that Bolton and Mank has worked with a lot in the past, doing wastewater plants and water treatment plants and that type of thing. So one quote we received from Rubin Construction out of Tyler was high. I'm hesitant to talk through the number here at this time, just due to we're gonna continue to solicit quotes from smaller contractors, with the meeting being public meeting. I'm just hesitant to disclose that dollar amount for the sake of competitive bidding here. But so the approach we're going to take now is we're gonna work with some smaller contractors, local contractors that maybe don't, go ahead, Brian.
How about web construction? When I worked for Wispac,
Okay,
they did a lot of bases for sugar silos and tanks, things like that. So wastewater treatment plant, they did all the pads for that.
okay.
Exceptional and probably pretty affordable and local.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Brian. Yeah, that's perfect. We're gonna reach out to, we have a few contractors in mind. We'll add Brian's recommendation to the list. And the reason for the original ask, we wanted to go with contractors that have expertise in this field, so we could have a partnership and work together, because the project is defined in scope. We know what we want out there, but we're still open to suggestions from a contractor that may have good ideas on how things end up looking out there. So with that, from our standpoint, Bolton Mank standpoint, the city, we'd like the city to allow us to reach out to a few more local contractors, get a couple more quotes, and then come back to the July meeting up to the July meeting with a few more numbers that we feel are a bit more competitive to keep that process moving. We're still targeting the mid-September completion on that one, because the reason for that is that's the mid-September is when the fall discharge window will open, where Brian will have the opportunity to discharge water to the Maple River. And we just want to be ready to treat at that time. So we would have reached out to these smaller contractors sooner, but we gave the bigger ones, I guess, arguably too long now to give us a number, and it kind of came the number. We gave them 3 weeks to look through it, and then that put us right up to the end of last week. So we just haven't had time to circle back and get a few more numbers here, but we'll continue pursuing that. We've had some, the engineer's estimate, we were kind of hoping for somewhere in that, I guess, 40 to 60,000 range is kind of what we were eyeing out there. Being, the project has kind of been segregated now, so the fence is not part of this project. The fence, Race is setting that up, but potentially look at that. The concrete pad is been poured separately with some other concrete work in town. So the project has become a little more segregated. So the quote we're pursuing is strictly, the tank, the pumps, the cabinet, and making that connection to the existing transfer station up there.
Did Brace talk to you about whether or not we can have 2 pumps?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, he did mention that to me. I have no opposition to that. But I think right now my thought would be to make the pump cabinet large enough that 2 could be in there.
Yep.
And right away we can just install one, or we could go, depending on, I wanted to get some quotes back and see what we're talking about in terms of the numbers here.
Hawkins Chemical that supplies our chemicals for the town, they do sell pumps and enclosures and mounts and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
Perhaps they would be
maybe
interested.
somebody to reach out to,
Yeah,
but it's always a good idea to have 2 chemical feed pumps, because if you go out there and you're all ready to discharge, one of them doesn't work, you only have one and it doesn't work, you have no chance, you might miss your discharge window because your phosphorus is high and you get away for pump parts or something.
yeah.
So,
The pump is a relatively low dollar amount in the grand scheme of things. I think
Yeah.
the pumps are, probably $4,000, which doesn't sound like nothing, but it's kind of becomes lumped in. It
It is though.
starts to feel a little bit more like a drop in the bucket. Mhm.
Okay.
That's all I have. I'll be back in July to keep the phosphorus project moving forward.
Want to circle back to what you were talking about, sending a letter to the legislator, Bjorn,
Yep,
asking the questions. Is that something you're going to work with Sue with, and then she's going to send the letter?
that is a true statement, Mr. Mayor, that I did already send that email to Sue.
Yep.
If you need more information, Sue, let us know.
I did reach out to the assistant.
Okay, you did.
I was gonna do with the representative, and then I got sidetracked.
Okay.
But
So you'll send an actual official letter?
Well, I emailed, what I did was I emailed him.
Okay.
We can do an actual letter and mail it if you want.
Mhm.
I don't know what.
I just
you know.
think in my own personal
Yep,
opinion,
okay.
that's what you've done. It's fine. It's great.
Mhm.
It's just an official letter
Sure.
sometimes. I don't know.
Mhm.
I agree, and city letterhead with a couple signatures on it.
Yeah,
wouldn't hurt,
Yeah,
perhaps
I
from
mean,
the
it's just
maker.
kind of, yeah,
Sure.
it's more than just that email you just pop up, I mean, they actually have to look at it later, so
I'll email you tomorrow and try to get some verbiage,
Sure.
so that it sounds
Yeah.
better.
that'd be
Okay.
great. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yep,
Anything else?
for me.
Does anyone have any questions? No? I think we pretty well got things going. I mean, has there been any progress on that little project over here that you and,
Yeah, Hope Street and Willard Street there.
yeah, where we had that drainage problem that was going down by the house there at
Yeah.
the school?
Yep, so I did send a follow-up email to Sue and Race on that kind of mid-May. I'm not sure if we acted on that or not, Race, but
No, I kind of
okay.
got
So-
past me, but
Yep, the recommendation that we have for that, we talked about a topography survey in there, Tom. So the intersection in question here is Hoke Street and Willard Street.
Yeah.
There's some erosion or drainage issues down there. That's kind of falls down the hill there where the school used to be.
That's, where that house is way down below the bank, yeah, okay, just so we know where we're.
Kramer's old house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there is an existing drainage way where Willard Street's east-west street, right? Or is Willard north-south?
Willard.
Yeah.
as well.
So if Willard Street were to extend to the west where it ends, there is an existing 80-foot wide right of way through there. And it acts as a natural drainage way now. That's where water's been going now. Ideally, well, I should back up and say one thing. the bonding bill project that we've been applying for funds for would solve this problem. We included that intersection with the bonding bill application. And we talked about a topography survey, but I think I talked to Jeff with Bolton and Mank back at the office about this too, and what the topography survey would tell us, something we already know, and that's, we want to get the water to the bottom of the hill on a paved surface with curb and gutter. So that would be the best thing to do. And the next best thing to do, and getting the water to the bottom of a hill with the stormwater pond, that was all part of that bonding bill application. The next best thing to do would be to allow water to go where it always has gone. That's the least risky thing from the city's standpoint. What we want to do is we wanted to allow it to go through that drainage way, which is that Willard Street right away to the west, but we need to beef that up and add some erosion protection. So an email I sent to Race and Sue in mid-May was basically, I did bring a little sketch with me, but there's kind of miscellaneous rock and debris in there right now. What we want to do is we want to get in there, excavate out about 12 inches of that miscellaneous rock and debris, shape a subtle inverted swale. So inverted crown, roads have a crown in it, inverted swale, put down some fabric in there, erosion control fabric, and then put riprap, which is larger boulders, 6-inch or 9-inch jagged rock on there, and allow water to continue to flow through there, but this would at least provide stabilization. And riprap is twofold. It's erosion control, and then also it slows down water. Water starts sheeting, can start flowing very quickly and be very detrimental. When it hits riprap, it gets choppy and kind of slows it down and breaks up some of that velocity and force. So that's our recommendation. We did in the email, I'll pass out this little sketch here too. You could run a little bituminous curb along that west edge as well. You just got to still allow water to pass through that drainage way. This is a 2-page map showing what we had talked about on safety. Hesitancy for the topography survey and reconstructing the intersection is that it's hate to put a lot of dollars into it just to have a larger project come through and remove and replace things that aren't that old. I get, sort of the putting the Band-Aid on something mentality. I was hesitant to go down that path. If the city was going to be in there doing some paving, miscellaneous upkeep and maintenance, I think adding the bituminous curb on the left side there, but still allowing stopping up this curb at that riprap drainage way, and allowing water to pass through there, so the curb would end. What that would do is would protect that house that's sitting down in there, so that house would, not have as much flood water coming at its
Right.
roof.
So we will have that alley will be getting paved too, so if we wanted to do something like that, they're already gonna be in town, but all their paving equipment when they do that alley.
It's a tricky spot. That house is sitting down in there extremely low. A curb on the west side would certainly protect the house. The challenge that we'll have is if you put the curb there where the curb then ends, that's where the water is going to come kind of shooting off there. So it'd be nice. What you'd want to do is run the curb all the way to the bottom of the hill, which is just getting the project's getting larger in scope than you're probably hoping for at that point. And that's where it'd be nice to. You kind of start sneaking into full reconstruct then, right? It's like, so now you're putting curb all the way to the bottom of the hill, paving the whole thing. Then the question comes up from engineering, should you be doing the utilities underneath the road if you're resurfacing the entire road? So it can start to snowball a little bit on you.
Yeah, so this way here is more of a temporary sort of.
Yes.
It's not, it could remain for basically permanent,
Yeah,
but it's not necessarily the best fix.
not necessarily the best fix, but I think it's cost effective. Bituminous curbs tend to have a notoriously short lifespan because the snowplow can ding them up pretty
Yeah.
good. They'll maybe get you three winters or so, before it might be kind of busted up, but if there's immediate need to provide protection for that house, they certainly do it. I do, feel inclined to say that drainage has not been significantly changed in there recently. The city's not being liable to provide a drainage solution to protect that house. You know, nothing's changed dramatically that we're causing a flooding issue. Other than it's been raining a lot, but that's out of our control the last time I checked.
So really, we're only improving the existing drainage way. I mean, we're just
That's-
maintenance.
That's our number one recommendation. And I think that absolutely should be done. Because right now, it's just, you know, Race has done the best that he can to beef that thing up with the materials he has available to him. So I think it absolutely should be kind of excavated out and put some fabric and heavier rock in there. Then at least it's stabilized.
That's always been
erosion
way down here, all for. And that would just extend just a little bit past that existing.
This has actually got better. That used to be.
Yeah.
Swampy
Yeah.
there years ago.
In terms of the rip wrapping there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on my little sketch there, I showed about 30, it said about 30 feet. So that's-
Okay.
Yeah,
So like where that existing, where the gravel, pretty much where the gravel is.
the key is to try and get that in
Runs through-
open it a little
through
bit,
here.
to keep that
Yeah, and
water.
back
from
here.
Going towards the house, try and keep it
No,
going more
you
to the
don't-
west.
right,
So-
right.
We don't have that
Point A to B.
Okay.
point where it would take to get it from here to there. So just here, we're just letting it go the way it's been going.
I think there was a right of way there though.
There is, but it doesn't extend down far enough. He was just asking about getting it all the way down and hooking it into the storm sewer, but we don't really have a right of way that gets us that
Yeah.
far.
We had that discussion on,
Yeah.
we have the right of way to a point, and then it.
And it ends.
Affected by a
So-
prop-
Without going through a whole bunch more issue. I mean, this way here, all we're doing is just in maintaining a drainage way that is existing right now.
Right.
That's all we're really doing.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of grown up and it's got crap in it and whatnot. This way here, it'll be reshaped where it was originally and good riprap put in and, you know, it'll be just a better thing. And actually, the water that's getting to the west down that drainage way will be moving at a less velocity than it is today. So it should even be better, you know?
It would be an improvement, absolutely. Yeah, then, like I said, if they're in town doing some paving, putting a little bituminous bump, even if it's just a little 3-inch curb, would certainly add some protection there.
Okay, so what do we need to do to make this happen? We just need to approve.
I will. Let's wait till we talk about money towards later in the meeting.
Okay. All right,
I do have some notes on there, Race, that kind of call, I guess, sort of the specs on the riprap, size of the rock and the fabric and stuff.
Sure.
is this like a $5,000 project? Just off the top?
Yep.
Just shoot from the hip,
I would say so, maybe 3 to 4.
3 or 4.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's not very much. It's
Okay,
all
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess if that allays your fear.
Yeah, thank you.
I think Boning Brothers would be a good call, construction would be. I mean, actually, not sure how urgent it would be, but if Chambers was in town, we could probably do it for a very.
Well, I mean, do we want to move forward then with this and approve that Race go ahead and get a couple of quotes and move on with this? And, okay, with you,
Do whatever you want to.
someone want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion, proceed.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Very good. That way we can kind of move forward to this because, you know, it looks like this. I mean, we're trying to do something there for God and country. All right, thank you. Is there anything else, Joe?
I got some stuff I wanna talk about. I don't know if you're interested, but
Yep, yep,
if they can, I think I'm coming up here pretty quick.
yep, I'll stick around.
Little bit yet. Unless you gotta go, then we can move you up.
No, I think he's gotta
No,
go.
that's no
Yeah,
problem.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda then is the sheriff's department report. 69 hours. And there were suspicious circumstance, ATV complaint, a paper service, disturbances, parking violations, an HRO service and a driving complaint. Are there any comments or anything that anyone's got about the sheriff?
I'm hearing a lot of complaints on ATVs and I honestly don't know what to do about it. I keep telling them to call the sheriff.
Yeah, that's what they need to
And-
do.
And I get it, you know, by the time the sheriff gets around it, because it's not a high priority. They
Yeah.
can't find them or they're gone. So I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes
Like speeding or
morning, before 8 o'clock.
what are the complaints?
They're,
Noise.
they're the noise complaint, they're
noise.
flying around, they're not obeying the laws.
On
And
Friday,
it's all over town.
yeah, on Friday, there was someone on a blue three-wheeler that was riding around at 7:30 in the morning and it was,
Loud.
I could hear it. I was working in front of the shop and I could hear him over on Chapel Street. Yeah,
Well,
I don't know. I'd have to see where it came from.
I guess the only thing we can do is send them another email indicating that that's our biggest complaint are those ATV complaints. And see if they can somehow,
Button that up.
yeah,
Then to know if
Make
there
that work.
people are to call. A lot of people are afraid to call.
Well, that's it. And I
They don't
just,
wanna,
and I've told them just call 911 because that's what we've been told to do. And then you just tell them it's not an emergency, but then it gets on
They're
somebody's
directed
radar and on their,
for dispatch, yeah.
correct, yeah,
I
but
did notice when I drove up for the meeting tonight, I've never seen a sheriff there was, one was parked back where Tracy's shop in the old bank on the east side of the bank. There was one, he was sitting there, but he was far back, so like when you're driving cresting the hill, you couldn't even see him until you were even with the street, so they are around and I see them driving around a lot,
I'm
so.
gonna say with all the trucks going through town right now, and when I happened to be just looking out the window and one went out of town pretty fast. And it was just a few seconds. There was a brown car behind him, you know what I mean? So they're around, they're
Mhm.
watching, you know, so I don't know what happened or anything. I don't care, but any case.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else? Nope. Okay, fire department. We had 8 calls, there were 5 medicals, 2 lift assists and 1 mutual aid fire. Anything else anyone want to comment on? Street update,
Also,
yeah,
they just started on that sidewalk today.
see that,
There probably will be a little bit more cost to that, not much. When they tore out that sidewalk, there ended up being hardly any rock under that, so they had to excavate a little bit more, being as it's a county sidewalk, so it's gotta fit their whatever
standards.
But they ended up being, I think, able to use the rock that I had poured in that snow pole last year. And I think that got them through, so I think it's not gonna be much more, but there will be an additional cost to that. And then the plan would be, depending on weather, I think they're gonna try and pour that tomorrow or Wednesday, and they're gonna pour the pad out at the ponds. Along with that. So that should be getting done pretty soon, which will be nice. And then, the trimming equipment in Kellen, Kellen's first, but that kind of goes hand in hand. Kellen just wants, I think it might be not be a bad idea to have some sort of, I don't know if it's if you call it a waiver, liability form, something like that. Because he has been using his own equipment. Because we're not really equipped to, he can't. If I need the truck, he can't exactly take the truck and the trimmer and drive around and trim town. And we don't have anywhere on the mower to put that trimmer. So he's just looking for something to protect. Maybe this, just to clear up any confusion that would be like, if he's using his own, if he's being on his own, if he's on city time using his own equipment, and something breaks, not to be in some weird. I guess.
He's using his truck and his trimmer and his blower to do the trimming in town.
Tree trimming?
Yeah, yeah,
No,
well, no
like-
lawn,
like-
Oh, okay.
Like weed
doing
whacker.
the weed whipping and stuff like that.
why isn't he grabbing something out of either the pickup or a tractor or something?
I mean, you certainly could do that. Well,
Does he have his medical card?
I don't know.
Doesn't he have to have a medical card to be able to drive our equipment?
No,
He doesn't?
no, not just the big truck.
Just,
That's,
oh,
no, that's a DOT card. A medical card is to
Yeah,
drive
that's
any,
what he needs a medical card for.
yeah, he would need a medical card to drive any of our equipment.
Not the tractor. Anybody can drive a tractor. license required.
No,
There's,
it's a medical card if it's a business equipment.
no,
Okay.
no, it has only to do with on the road, you know, type trucks and
So you wouldn't even need it to drive that, the pickup. What is that, a 1 ton?
Yeah,
you might need it for that.
Seeing it's a 1 ton.
Yeah. He might need it for that. I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't remember. However, I mean, it's, why would he use his own weed whip?
it's, the one that we have is, it works, but it's not, I mean, it's dying. And that's, I think he just uses his because it's,
Because it's just easier.
yeah, easy.
He's used to it. But I mean, I guess I would suggest that if we need to buy a different weed whip of some kind, we should do that.
But so they, with that, if we go that route, they have, it's called the combi system. Steel has it, Echo has it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a power head and then you have different, you can get a weed whip, a pole saw, power broom. Really, the only things that I think
Not sure what we
would be beneficial for the city I think having the ability to have a power broom head too would be useful. Obviously, we have a pole saw, we have a blower, so those things are kind of, those are gonna work better than any combi would be, but the downside is that sweeper head is like $400. So it'd be, if you're getting a new trimmer, you might be getting close to $1,000 if you're getting those two heads.
What's the broom? What is that?
So basically, it's a rubber paddle. So if you like, for example, at the playground, you get rocks from, like, there's a bunch of rocks at the end of the slide. When kids go down, they kick the rocks and keep kicking the rock, keep kicking the, you end up with a rock pile out. If you take the power broom and it'll push it all back through. Same with anywhere on the,
Okay.
in boulevards that get too much, like grit from the plow or anything like that. So
What kind of a trimmer do we have now? Do you know?
steel. I don't know when we got it. The shaft is bent, the head is, the actual motor is cracked and the throttle doesn't really turn off. It's always spinning. It works for what it is, it works, but it's
It's
broke,
tired.
I mean, yeah.
It's
It's
time for a
been,
new one.
it's probably been on a mower or something and gotten banged around or something like that.
I get it. It's probably, I don't know, we should at least buy a trimmer so you can trim. I mean, if you've already got a pole saw. You know,
Yeah, really the only thing, like I said, the only other attachment that I'd say useful is that broom, but.
yeah, I don't know, but it's worth an extra
Right, I mean, if, yeah,
$700 for
right,
one thing like that. You can rent one a lot for $700. We have to have one. I guess, I don't know, that's my opinion, whatever. We can,
So he uses
Whatever.
his stuff because it's better
yeah,
and he wants a waiver saying if,
well, it just. He was able to word it better.
Basically, if we agree to have him use his own equipment, if something happens, is the city going to reimburse him? So that we kind of get to that point before something breaks and he comes in and he goes, okay, I've been using this, it's broke, now what? I think is
Yeah.
what he's going for.
Well, I think historically, my understanding is that the city has gotten by with either using someone like their own personal equipment or someone else's personal equipment, and that hasn't bit us yet, but it's, especially with how things are today. I mean, it's just a matter of time before, but
I guess where I'm coming from is that we've had a trimmer a long time, and if it needs to be replaced, we should replace it,
Yeah.
period. And just be done.
5 years or older, it's probably
Yeah.
obviously.
In this
worn out.
use especially,
Right,
you know, I mean, I got a steel and I've had for 10 years, but I mean, I only use it at my place, you know. That's a lot different than
Yeah.
commercially.
yeah, I mean, Kellen's been really good about, he has an app on his phone that he uses for hunting, but it tracks. He's been using that when he's mowing to just get an idea on how much mowing there is, and it's like 40 miles of mowing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And when he was trimming, it was 6 hours of trimming, so I mean.
So I think
it gets
versus
used.
a waiver, we should have the equipment that he would want
Correct.
to use.
Yeah, rather than do that. Yes, exactly.
Thing is he might not want to do it next year, so we'd have to
Right.
start
Right.
after this
Right.
year. We'd have to get it anyway.
Mhm.
Right, and that's, we
So
didn't go the waiver route with Bob, but
is there any other personal equipment he uses besides the trimmer?
He uses his truck.
yeah, I think it's just truck.
He drives around with
I think
his
he's
truck
driving
to do the trimming.
Okay, so how can we solve that problem?
Maybe to do that, I
I
mean,
mean, either, I suppose.
Check to see if he can use the
Yeah.
pickup or the 1 ton legally.
Check to
You
see,
could just give him mileage.
or could just give mileage. That's true too. That would make it a cleaner deal, wouldn't it? Yeah,
If he can't use the vehicle
right.
without going through the
Right.
whole.
So you can just double check that to be sure, you know, and if he needs a medical card. If not, he can use that, and if he does, we'll pay him mileage. That sounds like a good deal. And then. So someone want to make a motion that we get a new trimmer then?
How much was it?
I don't know off the top of my head, with the broom.
A good one, I mean,
Yeah.
a good trimmer.
Probably 400 to 600.
Yeah.
bucks.
A good commercial one.
Yeah, something like that.
Under a grand.
I'll make a motion for a new improvement trimmer.
No second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Then
For 400 to 600. Is that what you guys said? How much was the dollar amount for that trimmer?
4 to 6.
400 to 600? Okay.
And then this is Thunder Valley Park got used over Memorial Day. So the actual concession stand area, they had a big picnic. They were really happy with how that was. Kellen actually drug that field. No, he didn't even know there was a picnic, but he just happened to go drag the field and she called just to say that she was really happy. They had 20, I think she said they had 20 kids out there playing wiffle ball, so that space, it was nice to see that space get used. How he's been sitting for a while now, no one really going over there, but it was just nice to see that they were utilizing the space. They had a building permit, zoning permit for.
Yeah.
For Andrew Meyer.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I did see it, yeah. Are there any questions regarding?
No, it looked okay to me.
Someone want to make a motion to approve that zoning permit
Administrator, though, right?
number
So you have to sign that or Robert does? Who signs it?
GT 04-24?
That Robert always did it. Who signs the zoning permits, Robert or Race?
Race,
Or the mayor.
zoning administrator.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve GT 0424.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Citywide cleanup day is June 15th.
Saturday.
I've been encouraging a few people that need to be cleaning up to take advantage of it too, so
You have been?
I'm hoping.
Or you're just going?
I've been told that they're going to do it, so
Maybe that, is it rain or shine? Is it supposed to be a
Yeah.
little bit of rain now?
rain or shine,
Are you gonna be down there, Tom?
pardon me,
Are you gonna be down there?
no,
I will, yeah.
You
no,
will be?
I will be gone. I won't even be in town, so.
That's again down in Thunder Valley, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Residents,
8 to
8 to noon. City residents,
I don't know what it is. I never seen the thing, but yeah,
yeah, it's 8 to noon.
to know, okay. Anything else?
Nope.
I was gonna make one comment here, when they start pouring this year. You may encourage them to put a gate or something across the sidewalk rather than just two cones, because kids are gonna love it,
Yeah,
so. Or maybe go all the way around it, you know, it's the summertime, you know, it'd be kind of fun, I would have enjoyed that, so.
Mhm.
Anywho, why,
Right.
water sewer update, sir?
While I was thinking about it, can you spray weeds?
I did.
at the pond?
today.
Okay. Um. So I got some information here. I brought some of my. When I enter my data into my spreadsheets, it generates a bar chart. That's a spreadsheet that I made to show water, rainfall, what we pump from the well and what comes out to the ponds. So on these charts, the blue bars is influent to the wastewater ponds. The maroon colored one is how much we pump from the well, and the yellow is rainfall. So the first one I'm gonna send around, and if you'd pass it to him, please, too, at the end, Race, if you could. This is March. And you can see on March's, how we're kind of jagging along and everything's consistent. Pumping from the well and what we get to the ponds. And soon as the ground thawed out and we got a couple inches of rainfall, we started to get I&I. Not a lot. March was pretty good. Next comes April. April, we had 700,000 gallons of I&I over the course of the month. So a little under 1 million gallons, 700,000, 750,000. You can see here how all the blue lines are longer than the maroon lines, and that's everything that's above the maroon line is I&I. And then here's May. May, we had 1.8 million gallons of I&I. So between the 700,000 and the 1.8 million, that's 2.5 million gallons of I&I in 2 months.
And that all goes to the pond, right?
I just, water going into the ponds.
Wow.
That's what gives us less holding time for our water. And that's why we're not getting our phosphorus treatment out there. Good news, I do have some good news. The discharge that I did this spring was water that I held from late fall over the winter into later in the spring than I usually do. I let that go and the phosphorus was 1.7 parts per million. So it was only like 28 kilograms of phosphorus. Our phosphorus limit is 227. So really good. It shows that if we can hold the water longer, we can get the treatment. So here we are, June. I'll do a discharge probably in September. And that water will have sat all summer long. So I'm hoping for good numbers there too. Probably maybe do 2 discharges this fall. Where typical years in the past, I've had to do 3 or 4 in the spring and 2 or 3 in the fall. So so far this year, I've done 1 discharge.
How come
So
it's
we
this
have-
time with all the, how come it would be less this year with all the rain?
We are getting less I&I than we have historically.
Okay,
We've made improvements. The school is closed, that's part of the water use, but that's not I&I. But overall, our water usage is down, from historical levels. And our I&I has shown improvement. But even with those improvements, maybe this next project that you're gonna do with over there,
yeah.
maybe that will help some of this. We'll see. Everything has been helping. So, yeah. I just wanted to be able to show you so you guys can visualize what I do for you, for how I calculate and chart this stuff. And then for you, if you ever need these electronically, I can send them to you. I gave you that memory stick a while back.
Yeah, I think we're at it
This
all
is-
through the end of 23.
Yeah, so I've got more data than you can,
So that additional I really doesn't dilute the
it does not.
sulfate out of there.
Yeah, I always say it, I said it to previous councils, if you eat a turkey dinner and you drink 2 glasses of water, you still ate the turkey dinner. It's still there. If you drink 1 glass, 2 glass, or 3 glass, it's still in your belly. So it doesn't, dilution is not the solution to pollution. So. Put that in the paper.
I'll have to have you write that.
It's way above your head, huh, Tim?
But anyway, yeah, so progress has been made. That being said, 2.5 million gallons of I&I in 2 months. So I'm hoping for the good rest of the summer, maybe things will get back to normal.
But it's supposed to dry out a little bit, isn't it? I don't keep hearing different stories, but
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic though. So,
Yeah, Race has identified a couple of areas too on the northwest part of town, some kind of backyard sewer lines that we don't currently have televising for, that we'll work together once Halliday gets rolling, we'll work together on that kind of keeping on those couple areas too. I don't know if you mentioned that to you, Brian, but he really popped his head in a couple manholes during a rain that only had maybe 6 houses upstream of them, but they were flowing almost half full, which
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense for, 6 houses. Taking a shower, flushing the toilet, whatever, should, be an inch or two of water in the pipe, not.
Few of them spots that people are gone. pretty
Yeah,
much
there's like,
Yeah,
gone
Gone
like
the
a
day.
10 or 11 a.m. when I.
Yeah.
those videos.
We got our eye on a couple suspect areas, we'll keep investigating.
I did go back and dye test those ones again. I didn't see anything from dye testing.
Yeah, we went out in that field and looked too. Can't
I
find.
get a feeling it's not coming, you put the dye test in the catch basin for the storm sewer. I don't think that's cross connected. I don't think that's getting to the side.
No,
I think we've rolled.
I think what we've got is groundwater coming in.
I agree.
That's all I have.
Super.
Oh, I will be placing an order with Hawk Company for some reagents for testing for fluoride and chlorine and things like that. And then, just normal maintenance for my pH and dissolved oxygen meter. I need new probes for those, so it'll be a little bill you'll see on the thing coming up.
Sounds good. Anyone else have questions, Brian? Very good. Thanks, Brian.
Yep.
As always, it's very interesting.
Omar, you don't have to stay either if you don't want to.
I'm okay.
You sure?
No, you're not required to stay there. You're welcome.
I kind of miss the small town.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Joe.
Small town.
Okay, you want to talk a little bit about your,
Okay,
or
so,
introduce us to it?
so Jeff, when we were looking at doing the water meters, Jeff, what's his last name?
Dale.
Jeff Dale. I guess he was with Rural Water for many, many years. And he brought it up to Sue and I on one of our initial meetings that when he worked at Rural Water, him and whoever he worked with, they went through and came up with a great worksheet to test what we're charging for our water rates, and it will also work for sewer. And so Sue and I met with them today and we went over. And so we've got to do some work on it, but I just kind of want to introduce, because especially now, Joe brought it up again tonight, with that bonding, and for the financing piece, they said we need to start showing that because our rates are so low compared to everywhere in the states and below whatever that threshold that they set for bonding. But, so we went through a couple scenarios just with him, but like I said, Sue and I will need to kind of play with this and come up with ideas, but it's basically kind of removing the contingent fee. And it's basically just kind of a renaming and just calling it a base rate. What we're going to do is increase that slightly, but it's going to give us a more truer, accurate rate for water where like low users like me with just one person in the house, I don't use that much, but it will fill that gap or will charge more an accurate rate per household than what we have now under that old meter system. And just want to kind of put it out there that it's something we need to do, and I think it'll become very helpful too for our funding for that big project that we want to get going in a few years. So it's something soon I will kind of work with, well, Sue more than me, but I'll help Sue too. So,
Okay. Sounds
but
like
it was very educational to me, a little,
It made a lot more sense.
yeah.
On how we figure that out.
anything we can do.
Yeah, 'cause
By where we need to be.
yeah, and one thing he said now, especially once we get through a year with the new meters, we're gonna actually be able to go back historically, even and after our first billing for the first quarter to get a real good, accurate read on the true usage, because we're like, it's gonna be a little clearer, and the data that we get from them is gonna be a lot better than anything that we pull from Itron, so.
So is this
Yeah, That's actually off of the rural water. And then it's a spreadsheet accessible. And he said he's helped a lot of cities to go through and update, make sure that they're charging really what they should be charging. So,
So this isn't a firm that's charging a fee.
no, he did that for,
No.
that's all free.
Yeah, okay.
You just take the information off of your audit and you put it in there and then you put in what you're charging now and it will tell you if we're anywhere near we should be, you know, if we're breaking even, if we're
Yeah.
not, if we're making money or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so.
All right. I guess moving on to, is there any other unfinished business? I think so. Not new business, first thing here is the Itron unit sell or donate. And I see in the packet, there was two resolutions, one to donate and one to sell it, right?
Yes, because we don't need it anymore, obviously. And so I did put it on the League of Minnesota Cities on their member link, just to kind of see what people do, what is there. And I had two phone calls right away that said, hey, we're interested in buying it, how much you want for it? We want to have it for a second backup, a third backup. And then Milroy called me, they don't have one, so they're manually reading, or they're actually they're going. They're just taking an average. So they're estimating everybody's bill, so they don't even have an Itron reader. And they're still I mean, they need one, they don't have one because you can't find them. So the question becomes, I asked Kennedy about it. And he said, which I'm not quite sure how, but it would cost us more money to try to sell it, which I don't think it would. Because there's no cost involved in listing it. So it becomes, does the city want to try to sell it for 100 to 150, or do we want to donate it to a city that is in dire need of one? And that's where the council has to decide what they want to do.
And Milroy has the meters installed, they just
Correct.
can't
They,
read.
their Itron meter broke and they do
Oh,
not have one.
There's no,
And it's going to be a couple years, I thought they said, before they even start doing new water meters. So right now, they don't have any way of reading their meters.
I mean, they have the meters though.
They have the meters in, they're using those meters, yes.
Okay, so I mean, it doesn't like, they would just sit there rather than here.
Right. They would actually be using it right away. It would just be a matter of if that's how you went. I'm assuming we would just have them pay. I don't know where Milroy is.
oh, by Marshall.
We would have them pay the shipping probably.
And why
mean, if
can't
that's
they
something-
pay $100?
Or they can. I mean, these are just options if we want to, because Kennedy had suggested we donate it.
Oh, it was his,
So
okay,
that's why I'm saying, you know, we can donate it or we can sell it to them as well. And then it becomes, do you sell it to the first person that contacted me, or do you sell it to? So,
okay.
To me, for $150, it seems like a little more work than it's worth. I would just say, let's donate it to Milroy. That's,
I'm okay with that. Just wanted to be sure to be used and not just sit there rather than here.
it will not sit on their shelf. The
right.
other two, I mean, like I said, it's a backup.
And that's part of the reason why we wanted to switch, because that's all beyond life. None of that stuff is supported, so you can't buy anything.
That's why people are, when they see them, they're trying to grab, so that they have them
Yeah.
in case theirs goes down.
Extend their life.
Right, yep.
Okay, someone want to make a motion, we donate to the city of Milroy?
I'll make that motion and then just require them to pay shipping.
There's a second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to do that. All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried.
Well, then, Tom, you'll need to sign that one resolution then. But you'll have to
Yeah,
sign checks. I
okay.
don't know if you're coming in tomorrow to do that, or you can do that tonight.
I can come in tomorrow if it's easier for you.
Whatever, it doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't
Whatever
make
you
no
wanna
difference
do.
to me.
I'm here, so.
Okay, I just gotta remember to do it.
Oh, I'll let you know.
Okay. Friendship Wagon Train, Linda's Place and Amboy serving the alcohol. Sounds like we need to approve that, right?
I guess, never done this before, so I don't know if the city has to, they're asking the city to approve them having Linda's Place come in to sell liquor,
I-
alcohol at that.
What, that we had to have like the license, I mean, their insurance and license in front of us.
There should be a, in Colorado, I know there was special liquor.
Linda has that. That's why they can do that.
Okay, yes, she does have a liquor.
Yes.
That's right.
Linda has the license that she can go out and do it outside of her
Yeah,
residence
okay.
or outside of her business.
Yeah, then I'm fine.
So we can, I mean, we can ask for a copy of that license.
What's
Um,
the reason they asked them and not the Thunder Bar?
because the Thunder doesn't have the license. The Thunder can't serve alcohol off of their premises.
Yeah, they used to be able to do that.
They don't
do
have that anymore.
Apparently not.
Ah,
Guess not. I mean, that's what you're saying. I have no
That's what I've been told. I didn't
No
ask
idea.
them because I don't do,
Well,
I'm
I'm
not
just
part of
saying it,
this.
it might be a hardship for.
well, my
carting.
understanding is that they don't have the license to go off-site.
you know, I bet that's how they do Amboy Days then too, because they sell beer and liquor at Amboy Days, and I bet you Linda's does that then too.
Mhm.
So,
could be.
Well, I'm just saying we should.
Well,
We
this
try
is
to
the
keep-
friendship train. This is nothing to do with the city. This is a group, a residential group that is taking care of this.
Yeah, this
So this has
isn't a
nothing to
city
do with the
event.
city.
No,
No.
Right.
this is
This,
a private
this
You
event.
know where I'm-
committee, yeah, the
you know where
committee
I'm
is just
getting at,
asking
I get it, but I
the
mean,
city
it's
to
a
be,
private
to say
event.
that they're okay
Right.
with it.
They contacted, I mean, we're
So-
out of that circle.
yeah, we're just saying it's okay as long as
It's okay for, yeah, they're correct.
the liquor license, then
Can we make it, can someone like make a motion contingent upon receiving a copy of the license and insurance that we need?
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
okay.
that'd be okay?
Mhm.
That way there, in case somebody asks later, at least we. know.
Yep.
Okay, so for the wagon train, I'll make a motion to approve Linda's serving alcohol with the note of that we need to see the copy of the license and proof of insurance.
We'll have that on file.
Yep.
Someone second that?
I'll second that.
And is there any further discussion? And if not, motion's been made and approved to approve Linda's place. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Website,
So I just received the invoice for the website, for Catalyst, which does our website. It's like $2,100 a year now. It has gone up substantially. No, we have until May, I believe. So we have until May of 25. So I kind of did some checking on some other websites. I contacted some of the, contacted Amboy because they just did one. And in their package, there is an invoice that's for this if we switch to a different website, it's $665 a year. The initial setup fee is $449. So it's substantially cheaper.
Mhm.
It's something that they would set, I actually have a Zoom meeting with her next week. Just to kind of see how it goes. They set up the website, but then I will put all of our information into it, so it won't go live right away if this is something the city wants to do. So we can have them put everything in it too, but there's an additional cost. And because we have a whole year still. I mean, we can decide to do this at any point if that's what the city council wants to do.
What was what's the one now?
Catalyst,
Yeah.
it's 2114, it's in the bills,
So that's
like $2,100 a year.
It went up last year too. I remember.
Yeah, it was like 1,900 last year. And then a lot of smaller cities jumped ship and went to this website.
As long as it can do, hopefully it's easier to use. I think that Catalyst is a little confusing. You get used to it, but
Hmm.
as long as it can do basically the same, it might require a new web page or, a new look. I don't know.
It probably, well, and she said, we can take our pictures, because I looked at Amboy's and Amboy's has like the picture of Amboy, their actual pictures on there. Where Catalyst, we don't get that. You have certain pictures you can pick from. So I mean, we can't put a picture of our water tower on it. Like the main page.
Okay.
So
So it just renewed this past May, so,
I just got the invoice and I paid it in this month's billing.
yeah,
So I mean, we do have plenty of time to think about it. I can check into some other ones too. And also, they suggested that we check into this .gov website. Right now, we're at a .com, I think it is.
oh, really? Yeah.
We're not a government. And in 3 to 5 years, I think they said they're gonna make it mandated.
that is,
So if we're going to do something like this, I think we should really think about going to the .gov at the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I would agree, I guess.
So-
Thought we were, I never.
you know, and
Mhm.
I just never thought about it when I was doing it, but and
How many years did we have this high price going?
Well, it was never that high until last year. It jumped to doubled, wasn't it last year?
it went up a lot. I don't remember what.
I know it did it shortly after I started and I didn't have time to try to figure anything out.
Yeah,
Seems like a good idea to me.
yeah.
So how do we proceed here? Do you need us to make a motion for you to proceed on this? And then
Mhm.
next May, you just move it into the,
Yeah, and what I can do is I can start this, I won't start this process until late fall or whatever. We'll start the process, then it'll give me enough time to check into their website and then build the new one and put everything where we want it.
yeah, you would need, yeah, Sue would need council approval to put all of that work into it.
Right,
Yeah, and then we get until May and then we go, oh, no, we don't want to do that, you know?
right, yeah.
Okay,
So the whole idea was to start it and then get it ready so that when we can just cancel the other one and then this one goes live.
someone would like to make a motion to proceed in this project?
I'll make a motion to proceed.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to proceed in this project. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. And then I see you've got investments.
So I contacted Burkhardt and Burkhardt, and they suggested I contact 4M Fund, which is through the League of Minnesota Cities. And they have their own, they strictly deal with cities, and so that's where this one came from, and it looks. From the information that he sent me from this 4M is it's all. You can put it into like a 6-month CD or whatever, but a lot of it you can just leave into like a savings account. And it gets whatever the interest was on it. But yeah, we can use it if we need to. So we can leave it sit there, but if we need it, we're not getting penalized or anything to take it out. If we need to move it over into the checking account. It's gonna get a higher right now. LPL called me back today and they were at 2.12%. It's very minimal. So. You've asked me to
4M
check into
fund
it.
is guaranteed.
It's guaranteed just like anything else. It's a Minnesota Municipal Money Market Fund. It's through League of Minnesota's cities. It's all the FDIC and everything else. It's all insured, just like any other place is. It's not something you have to decide tonight, but you wanted me to check into it, so I did. LPL, the first one of them terms June 20th. And the end of June, then the other one is the end of December. And the one that is the end of June is like 533,000.
So
And it'll just sit there unless. It won't roll into anything. It'll just sit there when it's up. And then. If it takes a month or whatever, or we can roll it back into that. Or we can move it to whatever you guys want to do.
I'm kind of leaning towards rolling the one that matures in June, which would be what, next week?
The end of June.
Okay,
Yep.
to that 4M, and then we can just see how it does through the end of the year or towards the end of the year to gauge what we want to move everything out of LPL. And I don't, was there any, you said we can just roll it, there's
Mhm.
nothing, they'll just,
Yep,
4M will do the work?
yep, 4M will take care of everything.
what is their cost to coming out of LPL?
As long as there shouldn't be a cost, because if once it expire, once
Well, as long as we're matured.
once it's matured, we can take it and do,
I mean, sometimes there is, you know, when
Mhm,
you're
yeah.
doing,
as long as we don't take it out prior to. I don't think there's,
I guess I would want to have you just double check.
right, and we'll get more, yeah,
Not investors, so
right,
it's really.
This is basically like a bank. It ain't, they're not an
Right.
investor that they're gonna take a cut.
Anything the cut they take is
Function.
already out. It's already full, it's already wrapped into the percentage that we get.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yep, it does. Well, John has got a suggestion there. I mean, someone.
But we don't, we could wait and bring it back up again, just let it sit, once it matures the end of the month. And then look at it again
Mhm.
June.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I mean, because when I talked to LPL today, he said, yeah, once it matures, it's just gonna sit there, you're not gonna gain interest, you're not gonna lose anything. It just sits there until you decide what you wanna do.
So we
So,
don't want to sit on it too long, otherwise.
no, oh, absolutely, but I
Yeah,
mean, if you
money
sit
sitting
on
there
it
doing
until
nothing.
the 1st of July or till July or whatever,
First
Next
meeting,
meeting,
yeah,
yeah.
next meeting is like the 13th,
the 8th.
8th.
What do you think, Amy?
Oh,
yeah, who would we check with? I mean, you have a suggestion, but you said check with maybe an investor or,
I was just saying, just double check to make sure it isn't gonna cost us something to.
If we would move it out of LPL,
and move it out to LPL and then what, at the end of June, what would you? Did you say roll it over?
well, then we could move it to the 4M funds, but if Sue, we can have Sue find out a little, just make sure that we're not getting penalized by LPL first by taking it out even after maturity, which we shouldn't. And then, any more costs that would be related to the new, but their rates are a lot better.
As long as they don't have like
So-
a quarterly fee that they're charging us.
I'm sure there's some,
Well, my
But it-
understanding was, that the interest rate the fees are already wrapped into that. That's my understanding.
If we just double check that.
But yeah, I'll call him back with any
And
questions.
we'll make a decision July 8th. So it'll just sit there for a little while.
yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
That's
It's only
a deal.
what, a week,
Yeah.
week and a half.
And then if we do want to do something like that, there was a resolution in here. From 4M fund. We can hold off on that until July as well.
So maybe what we should do is someone make a motion to table this until the next meeting, so that it's like front and center,
Mhm.
and you can have the resolution ready again and all this kind of thing, maybe?
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
Someone want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to table it until the July meeting to find further information.
There's nothing.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And just while we're talking about that, it's. So after moving that what was it, 300 and, how much do we move in
It's 320, wasn't it?
thousand that we took out of checking to create those two CDs? So our checkbook balance is getting a little low. We're down to 160,000, so. The community bank CD expires in June and we could put this on, or July 20th. To have a resolution, but I would strongly suggest we take at least half of that out and put back into our checking because. I don't want to get cut short and then have to cut in from someone and then somewhere. To renew our checkbook balance and then pay a penalty for it. Right. Coming into an investment. Just something to think about till the next meeting, but I wanted to bring that up, so.
Sounds good, yeah. We'll get that in the minutes so that we can be sure to remember that next time. Make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause 160,000 sounds like a lot, but. Doesn't take much for all of a sudden,
Oh, no, right,
so
right. And the taxes aren't due yet for another gee whiz.
we'll get the first half sometime in July, I think. You looked at, I don't remember what it was, if it was mid-July.
It was like mid-July, it was before I started last year.
Yeah.
You guys got like 100 and some.
So. That'll be pretty good timing. Then we can know, then we'll know for sure.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. Anything else? Any other business, miscellaneous business?
So I did have, you guys asked about the actual can't even say that word,
Actuary.
actuary report for the fire department. They have done those in the past. So they were done in 2019. No, the last one was done in 2019. They reached out, it's called VIA Actual.
Actuary.
Thank you, solutions. I don't know why that's so hard for me. And they reached out in 2020 to get the information and they never got any. So we can have them do another one for 24. But I don't have any of the 23 or the 2019, 21, 22. Online. So it's all the papers. So I would have to scan those in unless we had Burkhart send those. Because there's nothing on the computer. Cause they email me copy of it. But those years are not on the computer. So if we want to go through with this and get that report, I'm gonna ask that the council approves for Burkhart to send those files electronically. Because I don't have them.
Hey,
So they'll be sent to you electronically, so
I'm hoping they'll send them to me and then I will send them to this.
actuary,
Thank you.
who's gonna send them? Oh, you mean Burkhardt?
I'm gonna request council to approve because Burkhart's gonna charge us
Yeah.
to send them electronic.
Yeah.
But like I said, they're not in the computer. They're not saved anywhere that I can find.
well, again,
So
goes back to getting decent rates for bonding
the information needed for the bonding when that comes,
And-
correct?
and everything that Greg said when he presented is.
Yep.
That's what's not having those financials reviewed is why we're not getting the top.
They gotta do that every year, or just every.
They do it every year. Yep.
But we would just start with 2023 and there'd be a
We would
gap
go, yeah, we would just start,
last year and that.
yep.
And it isn't there's been an actuarial account done every year. It's the fact that we're gonna do an actuarial audit for 24. And you just need copies of the actual Fire Department Relief Association audit. That's what the Burkhart's got, because that's what he's got every year. It's just.
I don't know what he
not
gets
been
for the fire department audit.
Yeah.
What they're asking for is copies of our audit report.
done. Oh,
That's
the
what-
City's audit.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right.
that's what they're asking for and because Burkhart did send 23, but I have a copy of the 23 electronic one.
Okay, got it.
I don't have the other ones.
Okay,
So they were sent, they're not on the computer.
yeah, they were in emails and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
yep, correct.
no, that's fine. It shouldn't be that big a deal.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do we actually need a motion for it? Do you want a motion for that?
Yes, I do actually.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Or not, but
there a second.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Motion carried.
And then I also had the water billing cycles that we talked about last month. The ones that weren't being read because they just didn't read. And how we wanted to proceed with that, we can't just not charge them water. So in the packet I sent out, I figured out the rate for each one of those properties. So I don't know if that's what council wants to use for those, what is there, five?
Yeah. I really understand. I understand.
Just because meters were installed on those 5 addresses. We have to do it manually because the final read or.
Yeah.
I tried to pick up the initial read, so there's 5-day. So depending when the meter was installed, just
Right.
days
So-
before it was installed.
I broke it down into how much it costs per day for March 30th to July 1st, how many days were in there divided by how much it would cost per day. And then I took the date of when the new meter was installed. So there was 5 days, like the very first one. So I took that water usage per day, the average for that, and times it by.
So like that first property is going, you're asking us for approval to bill them an extra $2.32.
Correct, because we can't bill the actual for that old meter because that meter was never read.
Got
Because
it.
that meter was one that didn't read, and those are 5. So I mean, it's a very minimal,
Yeah.
but.
Yep. I think that that's very, first of all, thank you for doing that. That's a lot of work. And anyway, say this, we should, in my opinion, we should go ahead and give her the approval.
Yeah, fill these.
I mean, it's $2.78, $1.39, you know.
These five addresses will have a manual entry adding those.
Right,
Yep,
right.
This one time.
correct. Yeah, these are just from those old meters when we took them out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it. Now I understand. Very good. Someone want to make a motion that we give Sue the approval to do that?
Make a motion to give her the authority to charge the minimal fees.
Is there a second?
No, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, doesn't seem like it's a lot of money or anything, but something that
It's
you have-
not, but we
you have to
can,
get the approval to do it. You just can't
Right.
change a water bill,
Mm-hmm.
you know, willy-nilly, you know, you can't just go in and then adjust the water bill.
right.
Yeah.
And according to Burkhardt, they wanted a motion every time did something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
the last thing I have is that quote from that Maddox for a computer. That one time I sent y'all a text saying, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, we should,
It'll go, the last time it went down for almost an hour. I ended up going to lunch and coming back. But it just goes black and then it comes up when it wants to and sometimes it'll freeze forever and
No, we need to get that fixed before it crashes.
I know it's not in the budget right now. I mean, I will struggle through with it if you want to wait till the budget, but
no, it's future, it can be a
prefer not
future
to.
improvement. You got thousands of dollars in future improvement. There's
When are we
gotta
gonna
be
get a new-
$80,000 in
Yeah,
future improvements in that
yeah.
department, so. You know,
Get a new computer.
yeah, I need a new computer, so.
right?
it's-
Yeah.
No, it's only 1,400.
So in that 1,400, is there somebody that will come and transfer the?
That medics will come and take care of everything.
Okay, all right.
I asked him about that and I thought it was in here. I will double check and if it's different, then I'll wait and I'll bring it back to council.
Yeah.
Even,
Um,
even if it's a little more, I mean, I think we gotta get it done. If it's like $2,000
Tell Nick.
I,
Yeah, it
Just
is.
to make sure.
I'd agree.
Nick Walters.
Last thing we want.
Yeah.
Memory. so-
Well, and that's why he's been
Right.
coming out here to try to put new memory in this one and make this one
Right, I
last.
know, that's why you were.
Yeah, and so this one looks like it has plenty of memory. This is comparable to what Amboy has. So I asked her what she just got a new one.
Well, I'm just saying,
So,
if it's say 14 for another 100, gives you again as much
Yeah.
memory.
yeah,
You're right.
Otherwise, a year from now, we're gonna.
Right.
Well, why didn't we have?
Yeah, you're right.
yep,
But
We already tried to bump the memory on this one. Sometimes we add too much memory and it really, your computer goes really haywire.
So Mel, do you want to give her like 2,000 and?
I would say, yeah, in case there's a fee for the labor or whatever. Yeah, so go up to 2,000.
Okay.
You know, and that should hopefully cover. So
Kind of motion.
that, yes, that's a motion.
We have to second that.
So I just have to decipher out of it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Number one loss in business is slow computers.
Mhm. It's annoying.
Number
and
one.
I've realized that in the last 6 months. It's horrible.
If that thing dies.
Yeah, like John was saying, yeah.
Mhm.
And crashes and then what do we do for, it takes 2 weeks to recover or whatever. I mean, nothing's getting done, payroll, everything.
Great.
And we don't, go ahead.
I had that brief panic when we had the Itron meeting still. The guy came to speed it up and something got deleted and he didn't know if we're gonna be able to
Checked the
read it.
button and couldn't read her. Yeah, it didn't work, so we had to have him come back, or we had him. He poured it in, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what like Crystal.
Well. Is there anything else? If not, do we want to go home?
Well, still some daylight, yeah.
Somebody like to
You
make a
want this or
motion?
give this to?
Go back to John.
Yeah, I'll take it back. Well, I'll take it.
Someone make a motion to adjourn,
To adjourn.
second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
We'll be back to you.